Welcome to the Tea Huddle with Marissa and Kelly.
Your only source for gridiron gossip. If you're sad we only have 2 Sundays of the NFL left,
Or if you're wondering where Marissa is,
then you're in the right place. Welcome, Christian.
thanks. Yeah, it's good to be back. Marissa couldn't be here because she's too heartbroken about the Lions losing in the playoffs.
I can understand. It was a tough loss there.
Actually, truth be told, she is in another country, and she woke up after a red eye and saw the score, and it was, needless to say, very upset with the outcome.
Well, we're happy to have you taking over.
I'll do my best. I got to put my gossip hat on because that's really her specialty. So we'll see. We got some juicy things to talk about today.
Yeah, we'll still keep everyone updated out there on the latest and greatest of football and gossip.
Oh yeah, that's what we're here for. But as always, let's hear your rundown of divisional weekend.
Yeah, over divisional weekend, so much football to watch. I loved it, but I could not decide who I wanted to win for most of these games. They were really fun to watch.
They were all fun to watch. It was actually nice to not be like super invested in any of the games because I just got to have fun.
Yeah, just looking for some good football out there, and that's what we got. Starting with the NFC, the Lions played the Commanders, as we talked about. Sorry, Marissa. The Commanders upset that number 1 seed, 45-31, with a near-perfect game by Jaden Daniels. And this will be the Commanders' first trip to the NFC Championship in 33 years. So,
damn.
Congrats to them. Sorry,
and,
Marissa.
Yep, and good riddance to Dan Snyder.
Seriously.
Yeah, wild how they can turn it around like almost immediately after he's gone.
I know. Yeah, the Commanders are back, baby. The other NFC game, the Rams versus the Eagles. LA couldn't pull through in the snow to a dominant Saquon Barkley and the Eagles.
Yeah, Barkley was pretty insane.
He was pretty much the only player out there. But
yeah,
crushed it.
Hurts too also had a huge
Hurts.
touchdown run. That was impressive.
So we're heading into NFC Championship this weekend. We have the Commanders versus Eagles in Philly, which is a divisional matchup, which is interesting. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, apparently it's only happened like 5 times?
Yeah, it's only happened 5 times since like 2000 when they changed the rules.
Right.
So I'm picking the Commanders to win that game, but we'll get to some of my other predictions later on.
Yeah, geez. I mean, that would be a fun upset, but it's just like, who has the better chance of beating the Chiefs at this point?
It's
like
true.
In the Super Bowl.
That's the goal.
That's what I care about. And now that it's you and I, we sort of get to have a Patriots podcast. And as Pats fans, we really don't want the Chiefs to have more success.
And yeah, I think a lot of people agree with that. I get how people felt about the Patriots now.
Yeah, we get it, guys. We get it now.
Moving on to some of the AFC games this past weekend. The Ravens versus Bills. The Bills secured the win after the Ravens dropped a 2-point conversion attempt to tie the game. So this will be Josh Allen's second appearance in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that drop was pretty tough to watch. I was really just rooting for an overtime game, so I wanted it to happen.
And we'll get into that a little more about what
happened
happened with that game.
Yeah, yikes.
In the Chiefs versus Texans games, the refs and the Chiefs beat the Texans and are now headed to their 7th consecutive AFC Championship. As we mentioned, the Patriots have had 8 consecutive AFC championships, so we don't want the Chiefs to tie us.
Yeah, we got to slow down this train in Kansas City.
Heading into this weekend, we will see Chiefs versus Bills. We'll see if Josh Allen can pull off a win in Kansas City. We know that they're undefeated this year at home, but let's see it happen.
I'm certainly rooting for our division rivals, the Bills, this weekend.
I know. Never thought we'd say that.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
I think everyone's rooting for that, except for maybe Taylor Swift.
Yep, Taylor, who we saw in the box with superstar basketball player Caitlin Clark, who apparently has like always been a Taylor Swift fan, even though she's like, I'm sure now in sort of celebrity circles because
she's newly though. It's her first season.
Yeah, but this is still probably pretty huge for her to get the invite. Apparently, after she saw the Indianapolis Eras Tour dates, she got like a gift basket from Taylor that included an invitation to a future Chiefs game.
Could you imagine just being a Taylor Swift fan your whole life? And you make it big and you're sitting right next to her and her whole family at the Chiefs box.
Also in attendance were her parents, her brother, who I don't even know if she had a brother. I don't know if I knew that. And Donna and Ed Kelsey also. So it was pretty stacked in there.
Yeah, I'm wish to be in Caitlin Clark's shoes.
Yeah, she cashed in that promise and she got a pretty big game. It wasn't just like a regular season game. She got like the divisional playoff game. That was huge.
Seriously, I mean, I would cash it in then. Maybe you should have waited another week for.
Yeah, really. I wonder who Taylor's going to bring to the conference championship. Maybe some Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, or
yeah, they've been before. We'll see. There's a lot going on with that couple right now for the
yeah,
lawsuits and
true. Yeah,
maybe Taylor wants to distance herself, but
yeah, go with with a safer bet.
Brittany Mahomes was there 5 days after giving birth, which is insane.
Yeah, like. I mean, I know that they really care about presenting themselves and being very present and like being this like celebrity couple, but that seems wild to me to be there that soon after giving birth.
I mean, I probably could do it if I needed to.
You're the only one here with experience. Like, how were you feeling 5 days after giving birth?
I mean, no way.
Yeah.
And where's the baby? I wouldn't want to leave my little baby behind.
Seriously. I mean.
But good for you, Brittany. That's impressive.
I mean, they probably have like a camera crew following them, like shooting some new
reality
Netflix special or
I hope so.
Something like that, so that it was a triumphant look for her to be there.
I would love that. Let's hope that's happening.
Yeah.
Then it's worth it.
Yeah, I guess so. Taylor Swift isn't the only one rooting for the Chiefs. It's become sort of hard to ignore that it also seems that the referees are rooting for them as well.
Yeah, and I know it's always like a lame excuse. Oh, blame it on the refs. It's not the refs. You're the ones playing the game. But it's very clearly a one-sided ref situation after this past weekend. From the announcers also agreeing as they were watching the game, I think we all can agree that there's something fishy going on in Kansas City. And I wouldn't want to play there if I was an opposing team.
Oh, God, of course not. I mean, even when they're on the road, they're still getting held.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, one of my least favorite things is conspiracy theories about the NFL being rigged, because that just takes the whole fun out of all of it.
Yeah, we used to get that too as Patriots fans, which...
Yeah. But like this, I wouldn't say this is rigged. They're just protecting Mahomes too much. Like, superstar quarterbacks are good for the NFL, so they want to protect them. I sort of get that. You want to throw some flags, dissuade defenders from knocking the shit out of these guys.
Yeah.
A career-ending injury for Patrick Mahomes is bad for the NFL. Like, we get that, but this is getting out of hand at this point. Yeah,
there was one play during the Texans game where two Texans players collided basically right over Mahomes, who slid underneath them.
Yeah, and hardly got touched.
Didn't even touch him, and they got called for a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty. Which, meanwhile, during the Lions game, there's a clear no call on a helmet-to-helmet on Goff, who got pulled out of the game and put into the concussion tent, and there is no flag called. Just like the comparison between these two quarterbacks is like very frustrating.
Yeah, and like Goff has been around longer than Mahomes, doesn't quite have the success, doesn't quite have the like celebrity cachet, but it's like he's still like a $200 million quarterback. Like, you should still be protecting these guys if you're going to protect Mahomes. So there's just a real double standard there. You know it's bad when Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are also calling this out, and they're audibly upset with the refs and very clearly disagreeing with them.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, because now leading into the AFC Championship, I'm hoping that the refs are a little bit more careful about the calls they're making now that it's pretty clear that everyone's watching what they're doing. And
I don't know. It's like... It just doesn't seem like that they're interested in changing this up.
I know. I think Troy Aikman even said when he was announcing that the league needs to look into what's happening with the refs, which is like a pretty serious claim.
Damn. I mean, these broadcasters are usually like real company men, and they like don't speak up like that. So it's for Aikman. I mean, I've always liked him. He always sort of calls it like it is. He's a real straight shooter, but for him to be vocal about this, it's really indicative of a problem. And he called out Mahomes for leaning into it. At one point, Mahomes is running towards the sideline. He's obviously going to go out of bounds. He's got two defenders coming right at him, and he slows down right before he goes out of bounds to try to bait a dirty hit. It didn't draw the foul, but Aikman called it out immediately and was basically saying that was trash behavior.
Yeah, the fact that he knows if he can get a penalty called.
Yeah, he knows it.
That's why we're rooting against the Chiefs.
Exactly. And also, some people have started to say that Mahomes is getting the quote Tom Brady treatment, which like I get. Sometimes he was protected by the refs, but I just watched a 5-minute video of Tom Brady getting absolutely dump trucked, and it was like 15, 20 plays, and none of them resulted in any flags being thrown. It was just a different era back then. So
Yeah.
Tom Brady was not getting all the grace.
And there are a lot dirtier
Mahomes is.
plays that were allowed by the
Yes.
NFL.
Oh my God, he's getting absolutely destroyed, and just getting up and walking right to the line of scrimmage and starting again.
Yeah, if someone wants to make that kind of video for Mahomes, you can compare, but I haven't seen one out there.
Yeah, no way. The amount of just free yards that they've been given because of these flags is pretty. I mean, you can't argue with it.
Yeah, all the Texans in the post-game presser were like, yeah, we knew we were coming into here. It's us against the refs.
Yeah, they had some serious words to say about the refs. Like they're not holding back either. And speaking of Texans players who are unhappy, cornerback Chris Boyd during this divisional game really gave his special teams coach Frank Ross a serious shove, which I don't know if like teams discipline internally like this. I mean, it's obviously the last game of their season, but it was like a really bad look. Like that was ugly.
He shoved him and then he kept going after him, like on the sidelines. Like I thought he was gonna like knock him out.
Totally. Like where is this like going? What's the plan here, dude?
Yeah. So he got a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct because he threw his helmet on the ground once the Chiefs recovered a fumble. Obviously, the coaches were upset, but instead of like addressing it, he just goes after his own coach.
Yeah. Yep. That's a bad look.
And then went back into the game, I think. Was not punished at all. So.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously have a rapport and were able to look past this. He was in the locker room post game talking to reporters and was really calm and actually surprisingly cool about the whole thing. He just said, "That's not my character. I love everybody here. I love my coaches. I'd never disrespect nobody," which like you did.
You definitely did.
You disrespected Frank Ross. So, but he says, "I love Frank. I respect everybody in that building." So I guess he has a good reputation within his own team.
He was a little heated. He's sick of all these refs calls against them.
I'd be frustrated too, even though I think he did earn the penalty that started.
Yeah,
this
that
whole
one
thing.
made a little more sense. But speaking of some other players who are receiving serious hate right now, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the episode. But Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens, he's definitely not having a good week after he dropped the game-tying 2-point conversion with the minute left in the game.
Yep, pretty rough day for Mark Andrews.
It was in his hands and it just slid out. That was tough to watch. He also had a critical fumble in the fourth quarter, so not a great game for Mark Andrews.
Oh yeah.
But Lamar defended Mark Andrews in a post-game presser. He said, "I'm just as hurt as Mark. I don't think it's his fault. Like all of us played a factor in that game. It's a team effort. Just not going to put that on Mark, bro, because he's been battling all season," which is true. He's definitely not the only one to blame. Lamar Jackson has not been showing up for some of these playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously an MVP contender, but when it really counts in these big playoff games, his numbers aren't even really close to his regular season numbers.
Yeah, I saw during the regular season he had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but while he's in the playoffs, he has had 13 touchdowns and 11 turnovers.
Yikes. Yeah.
So I don't know how that happens. Some people are just, the pressure gets to them.
Yeah, and you do just start playing better teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
His division hasn't always been good. It's decent right now, but I think historically he's had sort of good luck against his own division. Oh, but one of the funniest things about Mark Andrews dropping that ball is the Ravens tweeted right before the game started that a little snow doesn't bother Mark Andrews as he was warming up.
Oh no!
And that tweet really came back to haunt them.
They jinxed him.
Yeah, they jinxed him.
You can't be doing that. Social.
Yeah, come on, guys. But unfortunately, Mark Andrews has been getting seriously harassed on social media. Even his girlfriend, Alana Yates, was getting so bombarded online that she had to turn her comments off. I'm sure people were saying some pretty gnarly stuff. But we have yet another classy move by Bills fans. Bills fans have organized and donated at the time of this recording, over $32,000 to a charity that Mark Andrews supports. The organization is called Breakthrough T1D, which works towards curing and improving the lives of those with type 1 diabetes, which Mark Andrews himself suffers from. So props to the Bills for stepping up and supporting him in what must be a pretty awful week.
Moving on to our segments for this episode. Christian, we're happy to have you. As we mentioned, Marissa can't make it today. And since we only have you for one episode, I figured we'd give you the floor for Christian's Kitchen.
Christian's Kitchen.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm going to use my time on the floor just to give everyone some quick Patriots updates so we can sort of have a little moment of a Patriots podcast.
Love that.
Going to start with congratulating Drake May, our star rookie quarterback, on his recent engagement to his longtime girlfriend, Ann Michael Hudson. He did it in Cancun, and he said, "I love doing life with you. I can't wait to marry you."
So cute.
Yeah, it's just so cute. It's really nice, but we need all these young quarterbacks to stop getting married so young.
I know.
So that they can make all sorts of mistakes in their single life, and we can report on it.
Exactly. We want the tea.
I want that juice. But no, I'm happy for him. Even though some Boston sports analysts were like ripping him for missing Vrabel's introduction to go to Cancun and get engaged.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to be playing in the playoffs, now's your time to get engaged.
Yeah. It's the time to be in Cancun, and it's the time to be engaged. Even like Patriots staffers were like, this doesn't mean anything. It was just like one press conference with Vrabel
Yeah.
that May wasn't there for. And people are acting like he's not taking his job seriously.
He's the future. We need him.
Yeah, totally. And we need him to be happy.
Be happy and in love.
Yeah, exactly. Please, let's insulate this guy with as much love and happiness as possible.
Exactly.
So that he can win us some freaking games.
And Anne, I hope you like Boston because you're going to be there for a long time.
Definitely.
Foxborough.
Yeah. So, yeah, she needs to get some sunshine in Cancun so she likes it up there. And in other, it's more of a rumor than news, but because of Mike Vrabel, our new head coach, because of his connection with A.J. Brown, people are starting to think that maybe he might acquire A.J. Brown's wide receiving skills onto the New England Patriots.
I love that. We need a veteran wide receiver. We've been talking about that. So
Definitely. I think that was one of your Christmas wishes.
that is.
Actually.
I'll take A.J. Brown.
Yeah. The rumors are still pretty strong that he's like not super happy down in Philly.
Yeah, I feel like that's been being said for like 2 seasons now. So
Yeah.
they have a lot of wide receivers down there. We could use him. We could use him more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially because he's all clear-headed now. He's got his book deal. What's it called?
Inner Excellence is is the book. Although I heard a theory that I sort of like, that the whole thing about him reading that book every day, like every game on the sidelines, is actually bullshit. Because
He's just bored.
yeah, he was actually like sort of being a dick to management and to like his coaching staff about like maybe not playing him or regardless, it's just a bad look to be reading a book, whether you need it to focus yourself or whatever. I heard it wasn't like as wholesome as everyone sort of seemed to make it out to be.
But it's not like they can say anything if he's talking about how much better his mental health is. They can't do too much.
Totally. No, that is, and I'm not taking that away from him. I'm sure this book has helped him, and I'm glad that he's in a better place.
If he comes to Foxborough, I think he'll be happy camper. He could be the star wide receiver. That's what he wants, right?
Yeah, it can be all about him.
That's good with me.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Oh, and speaking of inner excellence, the author was also in attendance at their last game over the weekend.
He must be a happy camper. He's making a lot of money these days.
Oh my God, he's just swimming in money now. All right, that does it for Christian's Kitchen. But we're also going to we got a few updates on some things we've covered in the past. So we are going to check in.
Checking in.
All right, our first check-in is about a topic we discussed last week. when Caleb Williams got pranked by some teenagers saying that he had a new coach, Ben Johnson. That turned out to be true. Looks like the Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, will be the Bears head coach.
Yeah, and actually by the time this airs, it very well might be inked in a done deal, because it looks like, yeah, they're in the final stages.
Maybe the teens knew something before we did. Maybe they're on to something. What if it's Ben Johnson's son who pranked? Does he have a son? I don't know.
Yeah, or like his son's friends who had the inside scoop. But I mean, that's going to be pretty good for the Bears. I mean, the Bears need the help, but they play the Lions twice a year, and Ben Johnson is going to come with all these secrets.
Yeah, the inner secrets. It'll be good for Caleb. I think he needs some better coaching.
Definitely. The Bears really just need to pick a coach and stick with it.
Exactly. That's true.
They just keep firing coaches and thinking it's going to help.
Let's not fire any more quarterbacks, not any more coaches. Let's see how you can turn this team around.
Yeah, exactly. Caleb Williams is your guy.
Yeah.
You got to go with it. And he needs to develop a relationship with a head coach.
It also looks like the other Lions defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, is rumored to take a head coach job somewhere else, probably the New York Jets. So we'll have to see how that develops this weekend.
Definitely. But then it's just, what are the Lions going to do now?
I know, and it's too bad. They had such a good season for them to fall in the playoffs and then get rid of.
I bet that's one of the reasons why Dan Campbell was so sad, is because
he's got to rebuild his coaching staff.
He knew he had this all-star coaching staff.
Yeah.
2 guys who are good enough to walk right from this season into head coaching jobs. And those are your offensive and defensive coordinators. That's
start from scratch.
Totally. That's pretty lucky to have that. So he probably knows that maybe next year won't be as productive, and that this was really the shot.
I hope not, for Marissa's sake.
Definitely. No, and I love the Lions too. I really do. And I want to see them win. They're the most exciting team in football right now. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell picked some good coaches. So let's see who he brings in next.
Definitely. And he is just such a good head coach on his own that it's not like they're gonna all of a sudden tank in their next season, but it's just gonna be harder without those studs as his coordinators.
Yeah.
Next up, checking in, we mentioned in our feel-good stories about Deshaun Watson tearing his Achilles once again, because for a lot of people that is a feel-good story. But it actually looks like if the Browns want to pursue this, which it looks like they can actually get $92 million back from this guy because of a TikTok video. Because we also mentioned this video, but it looks like now it's more so in play that the Browns can do this, because the video is evidence that he wasn't wearing his boot when he should have been. So because he wasn't taking the protective measures that their doctors advised, and there's proof on the internet of that, they can ultimately just void 2 years, both valued at $46 million of his contract, and save themselves $92 million.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't do that, especially if they're going to pick up a new quarterback this offseason.
It looks like they just want to go scorched earth on this guy anyway, so who cares about having bad blood with the monster that is Deshaun Watson? Get that guy the hell out of here.
He had it coming.
Yeah, so...
We love a good karma situation.
Yep, so fuck that dude, and also... fuck the Eagles fan who we are about to check in on as well.
Yeah, for our next check-in story, there's an Eagles fan that was harassing a female Packers fan 2 weeks ago during the wildcard weekend. This fan was permanently banned from Lincoln Financial Field, the Eagles' home field, and fired from his job once the video was leaked, showing that he was saying nasty things to this poor Packers fan, calling her an ugly, dumb cunt and some other crazy, crude remarks.
It was really gross, just absolute trash.
Yeah, and the Packers were down by so much anyway. It wasn't even like leave this girl alone.
Seriously.
Turns out he works at a DEI consulting firm, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So that's funny.
That's just a real shocker right there.
Makes sense that he was fired.
Oh, yeah. You just can't be doing that with any kind of employment.
No. So here's a warning to all you Eagles fans. Clean it up. Clean it up out there.
Yeah, come on. Now you can't hassle girls at the link anymore. So bye, dude. All right, we're giving you some rapid fire segments today. It's been a while since we've gotten any visions from Kelly. So it's time for an old favorite segment.
Kelly predicts. the future.
I love that.
Me too. Here I go. There's only 2 games left, so really tough predictions here.
Yeah, what do you got
But-
for us?
My first prediction, I think the Commanders are going to stop Saquon Barkley and put pressure on Jalen Hurts to take the W this weekend.
Okay.
They've really been putting all their eggs in the Saquon basket, but I think the Commanders are going to pick up on that and pressure him, see what they can do, stop him from jumping over their players. We've seen him do that.
Yeah, no, if you can stop Saquon, then
They got a
you
real
can beat
shot.
the Eagles. Yeah, definitely.
As you said, Jaden Daniels had pretty much a perfect game this past week, so just keep it up. And I'm taking Commanders for the win.
I'm for it.
My second prediction is that Lil Wayne joins Kendrick Lamar as celebrity guest performer for the Super Bowl halftime show. He is from New Orleans, so why not bring him out?
Totally.
That'd be
I mean,
fun.
yeah, I feel like we usually know a little bit more about the shows. Like they have like announced like sort of multiple artists, but it's just Kendrick right now. So
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, but as we
Uh,
said, it's gonna be hard to compete with Beyonce.
definitely.
But if you bring out Lil Wayne, I think
I think that's a great prediction. I think it would be crazy for them not to bring out Lil Wayne in New Orleans.
And then my final prediction, Super Bowl prediction, I think the Bills will beat the Commanders in the Super Bowl.
All right. So
I think it's time. This is the Bills' year. Patriots are coming back pretty soon, and the Bills won't have another chance to get this far.
so you got to do it now,
So they
boys.
got to do it now. Just beat the Chiefs, and then you got it. Then you can take it all the way.
Oh yeah. Oh no. If they beat the Chiefs, then I think they're winning the fucking Super Bowl. They got to do that. I will be rooting for the Bills harder than I've ever rooted for a team that isn't the Patriots on Sunday.
Yeah, I want them to get out of their system, so then when the Patriots are back good again,
Yep. And we can just start.
we can just destroy them.
Just start steamrolling the Bills again. Those were good years.
And that brings us to our final goss.
Final Goss.
What do you have for us, Christian?
Let's go. This is my first final goss ever. I'm gonna do my best to do Marissa some justice, but it's pretty hard to compete with the Goss Queen. But today's final goss is about Alex Earl teasing her possible engagement with wide receiver Braxton Berrios of the Miami Dolphins. So over the weekend, there was all of this noise about there being a TikTok ban in the United States. TikTok users were posting goodbyes and final confessions and old drafts and thanking all their followers. According to Marissa, the vibes were very much like the band is still playing on the Titanic as it's going down.
Yeah, some of the confessions, like now that TikTok's back up, it's like, wait a second.
Yeah, really. So especially in hindsight, now that TikTok is back, you could say that a lot of these users were being a bit dramatic. Enter Alex Earl, one of our favorite influencers. We've talked about her a whole bunch because of her relationship with Braxton Berrios. They really like to live pretty public lives
On TikTok,
Yeah,
especially.
definitely. So she was one of these influencers, creators, who was posting multiple videos of her crying to her followers. She was very upset. I mean, she did make apparently made $8 million in 2024 alone through her social media.
Wow.
So I
Not
guess
bad.
I guess maybe I'd be crying too
Yeah.
if that was about to go away. But so she also posted an attempt to get most of her followers over to Instagram because she has about twice as many followers on TikTok. She's 4 million on Instagram, which is obviously nothing to sneeze at, but 7+ on TikTok. So an attempt to get people over there, when she thought TikTok was going to be banned, she posted a video that read, "If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you're never going to see when I get engaged."
Ah.
Which is just like, seems a little clickbaity, seems a little follower baity. Like, also, isn't it supposed to be a surprise? Like I don't know. I wonder how Braxton Berrios, like a notorious fuckboy, feels about that.
I mean, it is the postseason. That's when the engagements happen. As we saw, we got Drake May
Yep,
already
already got
started.
Drake May.
So I think Alex is hinting at something if they haven't discussed it already.
I guess so. I mean, she must know if something is like maybe gonna be coming.
Otherwise,
around
it's just going to be embarrassing.
yes, or just shameless self promotion to
Yeah,
try to
it's
get
true.
your followers over to Instagram. So just because I'm just being sort of a hater, I'm going to call this bullshit clickbait until I see an actual ring on that finger, Alex Earl. But either way, TikTok is back, so all the followers can stay tuned with Alex and Braxton probably until the end of time.
You'll hear it here first. If they get engaged, we will keep you updated for sure.
We'll be on top of it.
Well, that's it for this episode of the Tea Huddle.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We can't wait for Championship Sunday.
Oh my God, yes. It's like literally one of my favorite days of the year. Like it's up there with Christmas. It's like it's an actual holiday for me. These games are so good.
I know it's the best. I don't want it to happen yet. You know, it's the lead up that's the most exciting part.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Make sure to say hi to us on Instagram, TikTok, we're back, and Twitter.
And we'll be back next week with more NFL tea.
And until then, stay juicy.